everyone, my name is Kirsty the Worsty and welcome to my channel. Cup, what are you doing? So first off, I want to say I'm sorry for coming up about a day late in a dollar store on my normally taped video. Usually I tape on Monday, but that just didn't happen. But today was a snow day, so it was perfect. My fiance and Guppy and I were binge watching Shameless all morning. So since winter has decided it's not quite finished with us, I decided that I was going to film a video about all of the books that I just can't finish. So these are all of the books that in recent days, within the last couple months or so, I just haven't been able to finish. So these are all of my DNFs. So the first book I want to talk about for this is Roseblood by A.G. Howard. So I was so excited to pick this up, guys. I was waiting in line the day it came out in January. I was running to my local Books A Million, and it's so pretty too, guys. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's so pretty. It has pink writing in it, and the spine and everything. It's just so gorgeous. So it's a Phantom of the Opera retelling where this young girl named Rune, who has this mysterious disorder that they're kind of calling it stage fright, but basically after she does a performance, all of her energy is just completely drained out of her and she faints and she can't control herself. And it's about her mother who sends her to this very private kind of school for talented children, for talented musicians in France. And that's where she meets this mysterious boy named Thorn and his father figure, which is the Phantom of the Opera. So I got about 100 pages into this and I wasn't enjoying the writing style so much. I thought it got really carried away in talking about the very specific details of the school, but I was having a hard time connecting to the characters, the main character, the side characters, pretty much every character. So I kind of wish that the writer had focused a little bit more on giving us some character, I don't know, just some likability for the characters would have been nice, because I felt like I would have rather had that and stuck around than had 4 pages describing what their atrium looked like at school. So that's just kind of what was putting me off. I tried to keep pushing through. I didn't even get to where Thorn and Rune met each other, unfortunately. Yeah, I was just having a really hard time, and it was really unfortunate because I wanted to love you, because as you guys know, I am the biggest Phantom of the Opera fan that's ever existed. So obviously this was right in my bag of tricks, but the next book I want to talk about is Maine by Courtney Sullivan. So this is probably a lesser known book than the other ones I'm going to talk about today, but it's an adult contemporary that focuses around a couple generations of women who all visit this beach house in Algonquin, Maine. I bought it when I first moved to Maine. I thought it would be a really nice introduction to the area, get to know a little bit more about it and all of that jazz. So I picked it up. I think I got about 50 pages into this and I couldn't continue. And I tried once reading the physical book and then once trying the audiobook. I cannot do it. I just cannot do it, because the first 50 pages plus, I think I got a little past that, is all exposition about how they acquired this beach house. And that would be fine, but I started reading reviews because I was like, is the entire book just past events and there's no forward moving plot? Because that ain't for me. So I was reading reviews and apparently that is the vast majority of this book is just exposition, and they talk about the different women and all the things that happened in their past in the beach house and their relationships with each other, but there really isn't a moving plot forward. It's just basically a history. So I put it down. I don't know if I'm ever gonna pick this up again. I actually put it in a bag that I was going to unhaul, but I took it back out because I was like, maybe I'll read it, but I don't know. I think the hope for that is a little low. So yeah. All right, so the next book, I think I might get a little bit of hate for this, so just, have mercy on my poor soul, because there's a reason that I'm not going to finish this, and that is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I had such high hopes for this. I know a lot of people who love the Raven cycle, who love this entire series, and I will say that at the beginning, there was already a reason that I wasn't going to be into this, and that was because I'm not a huge paranormal fan. The paranormal genre is something I never really reached for. So in general, I think it already kind of had a strike against it, but I went into it with an open mind. I swear to God. I swear I did. I went into an open mind, but it really just wasn't for me, I thought that they were introduced a lot of characters really fast in the beginning, and I was having a hard time telling the different boys apart because there's four main characters that are the general friendship, but then there's also like a brother of one of the other ones, and then there's a couple teachers, and it all just kind of like blurred together for me, and I was having a hard time remembering who was who and what everyone looked like and what everyone's mannerisms were, and it was just a little overwhelming. I also had a terrible experience with this audiobook. I mentioned it in another video as well, but the audiobook for this was narrated by like an older gentleman, and the main character is a teenage girl named Blue. So I was really having a hard time when he was trying to imitate her voice and like her mother's voice, and it wasn't jiving for me. So I was like, all right, the audiobook's it's not for me, so let me try the physical book. But I couldn't get his voice out of my head. I tried to continue reading, but I couldn't shake it. So I think that I think I will pick this up because I was really interested in the story. Basically, it's about this young girl named Blue who finds out that her true love is going to die when she kisses him, and then she goes into this graveyard and she sees this young boy there, and she's told that the only reason that a person who can't already see the dead would see a dead person is either that they are her true love or she killed him. So I think the premise is really interesting, and just all the buzz I've heard about it makes me really just want to like devour this, but that old man's voice is just so stuck in my head that I can't do it right now. So I'm thinking that if I put this away for a little while and then maybe pick it up in like 6 months, it will have gone away and I can start fresh and just revisit the world all over again. But right now, I just can't do that. So if you guys have been following my channel a little bit the last month, you would know that I read ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses in February, and I wasn't a huge fan. I just felt like not a lot happened, I wasn't super into the characters, and I felt like I was hanging on waiting for something exciting or important to happen, but it never came ever. So I wasn't going to pick up the next in the series until I realized that it was a Hades and Persephone retelling, and then all of a sudden I was kind of on board for it, and I was like, let me just forget everything that I just read and how painstaking it was to read ACOTAR, and I'll pick up A Court of Mist and Fury. I tried. I gave it the good old-fashioned try, and everybody said that ACOMAF is so much better. Everyone says that this is where it's at, and it's exciting, and it's thrilling, and it's action-packed from like page 1. I just couldn't forget ACOTAR, and I probably got about like 20-30 pages into this, and I know that's not nearly enough to start seeing the excitement that people were talking about, and I know that, but I just couldn't. I couldn't see past the ACOTAR that I didn't really like. It was the same thing, and I just remembered that I had such a hard time getting through it, and I was just like, do I really want to try to get through this? Like, this is thick, guys. This is dense material here that we're working with, and I just don't think I have it in me to tackle it. I just don't think it's for me. I really more gear towards contemporaries anyway, so I think that I shouldn't force it. And if I don't like it, then I just have to accept the fact that I'm in the minority here, and I don't like this trilogy. Yeah, this just really isn't going to be for me. I don't think that I'm going to try to pick it up again. I think this is just the end of the line for me in favor here, so yeah, sorry. The last book I want to talk about is a book that was really, really popular about a year ago, and that is The Girls by Emma Cline. I was so excited to pick this up because it had a really cool concept to me. It was about this girl who got pulled into this underground cult, this like crazy Charles Manson-esque cult that was going on, and she just got really involved in it, and it was about her kind of like swing into all of this world, and it was supposed to be really promising and really interesting and really like dark and compelling, but it really wasn't that for me. It spent a good amount of time in its framing device, in the framing story, and it that focused on the adult Evie, which the young Evie is the one who was in the cult, and then this is her, you know, much later in her like failed life. So that didn't capture me at all. The framing story was not interesting for me, so I was skimming through that, and then when we actually got to her, you know, meeting the other girls in the cult and being pulled under into it with Russell, it wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't as intense. It really, the characters weren't as like, I thought they would be more, you know, like manipulating and calculating and different, you know, and they were just kind of all cliches, and I really just couldn't get into this. I had a really hard time sticking with it, which usually if I get to like, you know, 50 to 100 pages and I'm liking it, I'll hang on, I'll hang in there, but you know, I just kind of like pittered off. I just listened to it less and less, and then I just stopped altogether. So yeah, this really was disappointing for me because I so wanted to love this, but I didn't. Alright guys, that is all I have for you. I make new videos every Monday, so please like, comment, and subscribe for more entertainment from me. If you haven't got enough, you can follow me on all of the social medias. I have Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads. I'm Kirsty the Worsty on all of them, except for Twitter. I'm just Kirsty the Worst. And you can find all that information down in the description box below. So yes, please leave a comment. Let me know if you liked any of these books, if I should continue reading these books. I would be really interested in anything you have to say about them. So, alright you guys, have a wonderful rest of your week, and if you have a snowy Tuesday, enjoy the rest of your snow day. Alright, bye guys!